Hello guys, and welcome to another comprehensive Magic the Gathering Arena draft video. I haven't recorded too much content lately due to the fact that I've been busy, but it seems like Throne of Eldraine has arrived and it's time for us to fire off some more Premier Draft content. And I remember recalling this the last time I did Throne of Eldraine. I drafted nothing but the blue-red control deck, which was trying to enable the card draw synergies, and some of them were pretty broken. I even managed to reach up to rank 40 Mythic, but I did it pretty early around the month, so I got rewarded with the high Mythic rank. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of amazing drafters doing Throne of Eldraine right now, so I won't be surprised if I end up just getting 3 wins and conceding. So, yep, let's fire off some Throne of Eldraine, take a breather away from Zendikar Rising, and see what cool archetypes we managed to explore. I haven't drafted the mill deck yet for my channel. I also haven't drafted too many knights as well. And as I recall from the set, blue and white are both pretty bad colors. I think white is slightly weaker than blue, since blue has some solid removal, solid interaction, and it also has decent. It also has a nice mill effects in this set that can win games. But white, the problem with white is that it's pretty much an all-in aggressive game plan, and the creatures are quite small. And in a set that's full of high toughness creatures in green and life gain, it can be definitely difficult to win with a white in this set. And also Trapped in the Tower is also not too much of a reliable removal spell, since it can only deal with ground creatures and it's enchantment based. Also, gotta keep in mind Fairy Guide Mother also deals with Trapped in the Tower. So white's probably the weakest color in the set, unfortunately. I mean, white has overall been pretty bad in M20 and War to Spark, as well as Throne of Eldraine. It's not until like Theros Beyond Death when it actually became pretty decent, as well as M21 and Zendikar Rising. But even in Zendikar Rising, it could be the weakest color, but still, it's definitely better in Zendikar Rising than it is in Eldraine. So hopefully we end up opening up a powerful bomb that we can kind of force and build around and see where we end up. But yeah, it's getting kind of late, so that's why the ready seats are taking almost forever to fill up. But I did a couple of Eldraine drafts and I didn't do too well. So let's see if I get lucky this time and I find the open lane and I pick up the powerful bombs. So let's see if we get rewarded with our pack 1 pick 1. Alright, in pack 1 pick 1, Throne of Eldraine, Premier Draft. What do we have to find? Pleasure of Opening, and pretty powerful rare. I mean, you have to be blue-black to play this. There's also the mythic uncommon Sir Conrad in this pack, which is also pretty bonkers and excellent. Epic Downfall, pretty excellent too, but wouldn't take it over Sir Conrad since this is just a powerful win condition in and of itself. And yeah, it's a mythic uncommon. Epic Downfall is a removal spell, which you can always pick up at commons sometimes. Once in future, nice 2-for-1 in the late game, and then at commons there's also a Charm Sleep, which is a good removal spell. But it's really between Sir Conrad and Lochmere Serpent here. I mean, Lochmere Serpent is just broken, right? I mean, a flash creature which can ambush the opponent, and then you can always return it back from the graveyard in the later games if you can get 5 into the opponent's graveyard, and then you can also make this unblockable, and you can sacrifice a swamp to draw a card. Although it's in 2 colors, it's pretty much broken, so I think we take the Lochmere Serpent here. Sir Conrad is also pretty broken and keeps us in single color, but Lochmere Serpent has a lot more upside. It is 2 colors, but I don't mind forcing 2 colors given how broken it is, so we'll take a Lochmere Serpent. Followed by the Lochmere Serpent, we have a pretty interesting decision. Do we want to take Revenge of Ravens over Reef Soul? The Revenge of Ravens, quite excellent against aggressive decks, and makes it almost impossible to race against once this is on the battlefield, since it can just constantly prevent attacks from happening, while the Reef Soul is just a solid removal spell that we can always just take up. I mean, usually in blue-black, I mean, if we just take a bunch of removal spells and we just kill the opponent's stuff and lock their stuff down with cards like Soul Tiny, and we draw our Lochmere Serpent, we can usually just win the game. So yeah, I mean, both of these are pretty powerful. Revenge has a more unique effect, but it's not going to be at its best in every matchup, since if you're playing against opponents with high-powered creatures, it won't be that amazing. So I think we just take the Reef Soul here. Alternatively, Mad Ratter is also excellent for the blue-red deck, but we're just going to force blue-black control if we can. So let's take a Reef Soul. And I'll take a Charm Sleep or Turn to a Pumpkin. Both of these are quite excellent. Outmuscle is also great. But it's just between the blue spells here. And I mean, I do like instant speed interaction, and Turn to a Pumpkin is quite nice. It also draws us a card, and if we can get Adamant, it generates a food, which doesn't have too much synergy, but I mean, it's still instant speed, which is sometimes a lot more important than sorcery speed. Charm Sleep does lock something down, but if the creature has a passive ability, it's not super amazing. I think I'll just take a Turn to Pumpkin. There's a chance we could get Charm Sleep later, since it's at common and the pretty there's a hard chance that it will appear. Turn to Pumpkin has a much more unique effect that I'd rather take here, and yeah, let's take Turn to Pumpkin. So yeah, the blue-black seems open, and even an Into the Story as a nice payoff card for the mill deck. However, if we don't manage to mill the opponent, the Into the Story isn't great, and maybe we can pick up like the 5-drop spell that draws 5 instead, so maybe I just take another Reef Soul instead. I mean, yeah, if we don't find ways to put stuff in the graveyard, this can be kind of clunky. It's a great card, but I think I'd rather just take the Reef Soul. I mean, we could just end up in blue-black without the mill synergies, and the Into the Story isn't that great, while Reef Soul is always great and reliable, so let's take a Reef Soul. Also, Sirkar in the pack, and this is the card I was talking about, the 5-mana sorcery speed, draw 3. So it's going to be my pick here. It's going to be the pick if, I mean, obviously the Into the Story is better if you can get 8 into the graveyard, but if you can't get 8 into the graveyard, 5 mana draw 3 is at sorcery speed is still fine, so we'll take the Unexplained Visions. And Bognati can be pretty decent if we get some foods going. Alternatively, there's really nothing else I want out of this pack. Bognati best in black-green, but if we can pick up enough food support, Bognati can be pretty excellent, so if we pick up some of those the foods for 2 mana and 2 generic, this can be quite nice. I mean, we also have Turn to Pumpkin, which can maybe make a food if we can get blue Adamant going, but either way, still 5 mana 3/3 flyer, which is okay, so I'll take it here. So yeah, opened up a pretty busted, broken blue rare, and then we're just going to continue on with it. And between Wicked Guardian and Reaper of Night, they're both kind of close. Reaper does provide us a nice win condition in the late game. Also makes the opponent discard 2. Wicked Guardian's a nice cantrip. If we pick up some high toughness creatures, we can just play this on turn 4 and draw a card. I think I prefer just a Reaper, just to have maybe another alternate win condition to close out the game. There's a chance we don't get the Lockmere Serpent, and I'd rather just have the Reaper or Bognati as good flyers. So let's take a Reaper to ensure we have the win condition covered, and then maybe we can pick up those Wicked Guardians later. And could take a Forever Young. I mean, Forever Young is quite nice if we need to get back some creatures. If we're going to play a lot of non-creature spells, it might be kind of awkward. But other than that, Misfit Turtles are dime a dozen. Usually you can pick up Quarter Monitors that can block on turn 2 instead. There's also Searing Barrage, but I think we're kind of forcing the blue-black control deck at this point. And I'll take my Quarter Monitor now. Eye Collector does mill, but is symmetrical, which can be a decent upside to the Lockmere Serpent. Like, we can maybe mill enough to get back the Lockmere Serpent eventually by exiling 5, but it's pretty mediocre as a ground blocker, so Quarter Monitor usually better. Okay, so deck seems good. I mean, blue-black does seem pretty open, and even a late Mad Ratter in case we want to pivot into blue-red. There's also Tuinvel Treefolk, but this is just a powerful payoff. So I haven't drafted the blue-black control deck yet, so I'm happy opening up the Lockmere Serpent and forcing it. After taking Lockmere Serpent, we took a Reef Soul, and then we took a Turn to Pumpkin into another Reef Soul. So quite happy that blue is also open as well as black. I mean, if we took Sir Conrad, we'd probably be taking the Reef Soul still, and we'd probably keep our options a lot more open. But again, the Lockmere Serpent is just broken. Like, there's no reason not to force this, and I don't think I need a second Forever Young. There's a chance we play Lockwing Gargoyle, but hopefully not. It's still a decent ground blocker on 1, and you can maybe pay 4 mana in the late game to get to fly, but it still doesn't even do that much. But there's a chance we could end up playing it if we have some artifact synergies in the deck. Okay, into the story even wheeled. Okay, so we just need ways to mill the opponent. So hopefully we can pick up some Didn't Say Pleases and the Merfolk Secret Keepers to enable the into the story. But it's pretty much a perfect card in a blue-black control deck, which I'm happy to see pretty late. So good sign that blue-black is open. So this is pretty much an example of a draft where everything from their first pick to your second pick pretty much panned out. So I wouldn't be surprised if this gets to 7 wins or more. And Vantress Gargoyle is excellent. It's on color. It's a nice flyer. It can also enable mill. And yeah, got to keep in mind this can't block unless there's 4 more cards in your hand. But in blue-black, if we're looking to draw cards, then we shouldn't have any issues, especially with an Unexplained Visions and Into the Story in the deck. But it's just pretty much the perfect card to open for a deck like this. So we'll take a Vantress Gargoyle. Ooh, what's this? Hey, Ironcrag Pyromancer is pretty powerful. What's in our colors? Nothing? Okay. I mean, I guess red-blue is still on the table since we have a Mad Ratter in the sideboard as well, but Pyromancer is undeniably pretty powerful, so I guess there's a chance we pivot back into blue-red. We'll see. I wish this stupid Mad Ratter wouldn't be floating in my sideboard, so I guess I'll just exit out and come back and see if the glitch is fixed. Probably not, since the software is pretty cheap. Okay, so I guess the Mad Ratter is stuck here. And out of this pack, what is there? There's an Arcanist Owl, which is excellent. Trapped in Tower in white. Don't think I'm taking Quartermarge. Could just take a Runaway together, to be honest. Still a decent interaction spell. And I don't know if I want to move into blue-white at this point, given that I picked up a bunch of black cards and red cards. So we'll take a Runaway together. Can be pretty nice if we pick up the Tome Raiders at common. It still protects the creature and still bounces something back, so it does set the opponent back sometimes. But Mad Ratter and Ironcrag Pyromancer can still lead us to a nice blue-red control deck where we're leveraging the card draw synergy. And now I guess there's a So Tiny, but we don't have any ways to enable mill. There's an Animating Fairy, but we currently don't have any artifacts or enchantments, but it still keeps us in blue. There's also Opt, which can be pretty nice in blue-red. So it's a pretty tough spot right now to know what to take. So Tiny can be decent if we can mill them enough, but we don't have enough mill yet. So I think we could speculate on the Animating Fairy in case we open up some non-creature artifacts. I mean, I guess I can even just take an Opt. Why not? Yeah, I guess I'll take an Opt. I mean, I can still play this in blue-black, and in blue-red I do need a way to enable card draw at the moment. The Animating Fairy's fine. It's still fine flyer, but it's only good if you can get those non-creature artifacts in the deck, like Golden Eggs and Witching Wells. So, I mean, I guess there's a Lucky Clover still late in the pack. Moonlit Scavengers, Scalding Cauldron would have been fine with the Fairy. I do like the Lucky Clover, especially with the Reaper of Night, making them discard 4. We currently don't have any adventures yet, but really, I mean, I can always get these cards later. So I'm down to take the Lucky Clover as the best card in the pack. And, okay, I could just take a random 4-drop blocker or just another Opt. I guess I'll just take another Opt. I mean, we have a good setup for a blue-red deck, we have a good setup for a blue-black deck. I mean, we just don't have a lot of mill going on, so maybe we still end up in blue-red, I don't know. The Lucky Clover does have nice synergy with the Reaper, though. Overall, black seems pretty cut off in this second pack, but hopefully next pack it's open. But the late Ironcrag Pyromancer is a sign that blue-red is an option as well. So we'll see. Also, not too many foods for the Bognati, but still a 5-mana 3/3 flyer, which can maybe get in some damage. If I see a late Improbable Alliance, maybe I switch. Yeah, I don't really like Bloodhaze Wolverine. Even in blue-red, there's just a lot of 4 toughness in this set. And blue-red's looking to be more controlling than aggressive. So I'd rather just take a Moonlit Scavengers on turn 6. Which is always a fine curve topper with the Lucky Clover. And still plays decent in blue-red if we pick up enough artifacts and enchantments. So I don't. Ooh, late improbable alliance. Okay. Yeah. I mean, maybe blue red is just a way to go. I guess we're doing Izzet again. But I mean, we still have some nice blue black cards. But I guess I'll just keep them all in a separate pile and see where we end up. Because black does seem pretty cut off in this direction, but it could be open on the other direction. Do I want to profit? Probably not. Do I want to Wishful Merfolk? Maybe I need a 2-drop that can hold off the ground. Maybe I can just take a Scalding Cauldron or just a random turtle as a ground blocker. Maybe I take the Cauldron in case I get those animating fairies pretty late and I don't have any removal in red. So yeah, I guess I'll take it. The turtle I don't find particularly amazing or playable. Don't think I need a second Quarter Monitor. Don't think I need a second Unexplained Visions. I think I take the Tree Folk. Okay, so blue-red is still an option that we can be in. Same with blue-black. So hopefully we get the payoffs, but now there's a Wicked Guardian. Okay, but we don't have enough mill for the So Tiny, so blue-black is still on the table. So we'll see. And still Gaze Griffin pretty late. Excellent in the blue-red deck. And I guess we'll take our turtle now. Okay, we opened up a pretty insane bomb, the Garruk. But if we can fix for the mana, it can be pretty powerful. Alternatively, there's also the Merchant of the Veil for the deck, but it's just, yeah, I guess there's a chance we end up splashing Garruk if we end up in blue-black, so it's a better reason to be maybe in blue-black because this card is just an unbeatable card. Nothing amazing in blue-red outside the Merchant of the Veil as an enabler, but I'm not going to take it over Garruk, the Broken.
The wilds are primal and violent.
And Drown in the Lock pretty late, okay. There's also a Merchant of the Veil. Is there any card that can keep our options open? I mean, we don't even have fixing for Garruk yet, so maybe we still end up in blue-red. I mean, the Lockmere Serpent is just a broken card, though. Drown Lock is excellent, though. But, I mean, we also have Improbable Alliance and Mad Ratter anyways, so, yeah, this is tough. Maybe I just take the land and call it a day. I mean, maybe I just take the Merchant. Okay, I guess we're blue-red. I mean, we need the Merchant to enable the card draw, so guess we'll take the Merchant. Is our Merchant Drown a Lock or the Castle Vantress? And I do like Hypnotic Sprite a lot. Excellent 2-for-1. Nice creature that can... It's pretty bad to Lucky Clover, though, so we got to keep that in mind, but it's still the best card in the pack overall, so happy seeing this kind of late. And an Epic Downfall pretty late, although there's a Scorching Dragonfire. There's also a Merfolk Secret Keeper to enable mill. Yeah, this is hard. Do we stick to the blue-black plan, or we stick with the blue-red? I feel like blue-red was a lot more open for the most part. I mean, Merfolk Secret Keeper is pretty good to Lucky Clover, but... I feel like blue-red's the place to actually be. I don't think we're splashing for Garruk, I mean, but I mean, yeah, I don't. The problem is I don't think we don't have enough mill for blue black, and it's a little bit too late. But now we have a Midnight Clock also as a win condition. So I mean, the problem is in blue black we just don't have too many ways to enable mill. So I feel like blue red is actually the actual choice to be in, since now the Midnight Clock can serve as a win condition as well as our card draw enablers. And another Improbable Alliance, so happy that I stuck with blue-red. Okay. Alternatively, Charm Sleep is a good removal spell, but we're going to take as many Improbable Alliances. Okay. So even though blue-black could have been an option, I feel like, yeah, blue-red was just definitely a lot more open, and it'll take a Thrill of Possibilities over the Opt, since we can enable it at instant speed during the opponent's turn. And, ooh, late Searing Barrage, excellent. Gotta take the Searing Barrage here. How much removal? One Scorching Dragonfire, maybe a Cauldron. Turn the Pumpkin, maybe run away together. Not too many ways to kill something permanently, so I think I'll take the Searing Barrage here over the Thrill of Possibilities, which is still excellent in a deck like this. And I think we're still playing the Moonlit Scavengers in this deck, I imagine. Or not. So if we're going to play Moonlit Scavengers, I guess we're going to play the Lucky Clover. Lucky Clover can make it so that we can copy this twice, but it's not very good at Hypnotic Sprite, so maybe it doesn't make it. Could maybe take another Steel Gaze Griffin, but a second Merchant is quite nice in a deck like this. because we can just win the game with Improbable Alliance. We don't really need the Steelgaze Griffin that much. So I feel like the Merchant of the Veil is better. We have the Mad Ratters that can go wide, the Improbable Alliance that can make a bunch of fairies, the Mad Rat, yeah, and then, ooh, okay. Do I take the Didn't Say Please? I don't think I need a second Scavengers in this deck. Maybe just take the Didn't Say Please, could use a fine counter spell for this deck. Yeah, we have the Pyromancers on 3-2 that can help us win the game, as well as the Midnight Clock. So I don't feel like we necessarily need the whatchamacallit. I don't know. I guess now I can main deck a Merfolk Secret Keeper in the deck. With the Lucky Clover, it can be pretty decent. I mean, I guess it can enable the Graveyard and still be a fine ground blocker for a deck like this. I mean, I'm not going to pass it up here, seeing it this late. Yeah, we just didn't have enough mill, I guess, for blue-black, but I mean, it was still on the table. Bloodhaze Wolverine can maybe make the cut. It does have synergy in the deck, but we're really just a control deck. To be honest, we're not really looking to be hyper-aggressive, so we'll see. Okay, so if I'm looking to play the Moonlit Scavengers, I do need some artifacts. So there's a Scalding Cauldron, which I don't mind a copy of playing. It's not a very good removal spell, but if we need interaction, we need interaction. So let's move the interaction spells over here. So kind of a right call going for the red mana base. I don't mind the Didn't Say Please to keep up with the Merchant of the Veil and all. So I actually don't mind the Moonlit Scavengers. It seems pretty decent in the deck. The Lucky Clover, however, I mean, it has synergy with the Merfolk Secret Keeper. It sucks with the Hypnotic Sprite because it will kill it. And it can be okay with the Merchant to copy and discard 2 and draw 2 cards. But overall, it still doesn't seem very amazing for the deck. But it does provide us an artifact for the Moonlit Scavengers. For the Into the Story, I mean, it can be pretty nice with the Merfolk Secret Keeper and the Didn't Say Please. But it might not be necessary. We might not need the mill synergies. We also don't have any fixing for the Lockmere Serpent, which I would also be happy playing a deck like this. I guess I don't know why the Mad Ratter is in the pile, so I guess we kind of have to find out the package we need to cut here. We don't have too many artifacts and enchantments for the Moonlit Scavenger, so it doesn't seem that great. I guess we also have Midnight Clock as an artifact. I guess we also have Quarter Monitor and Vantress Gargoyle, so okay, so the Moonlit Scavenger seems pretty good. So if that's the case, we don't really need the Lucky Clover. We just don't have too much great adventure synergy outside of the Merfolk Secret Keeper. And if we're going to cut the Lucky Clover, I guess we can just cut the Merfolk and the Didn't Say Please, since we don't care about mill synergies too much. We do have the Vantress Gargoyle that can mill them, but we're not. The game plan doesn't seem to be milling the opponent for the time being. The game plan seems to be to outvalue the opponent via card draw with payoffs like the Improbable Alliance, the Mad Ratters, the Steelgaze Griffin, and the Ironcrag Pyromancer as our win cons. So those seem to be the win conditions for the most part. And then do we have a secondary win condition? Maybe through the air with the Flyers to beat down maybe the Midnight Clock once it gets to the 12th hour. It can just refuel our deck, so we probably don't need a card like Into the Story in a deck like this, because not only are we not trying to mill the opponent, but we also, again, have Midnight Clock to draw us cards, Unexplained Visions to draw us cards, the Improbable Alliance can help us loot, same with the Merchant of the Veils, the Ops and the Thrill of Possibilities also serves as a card draw engine. So yeah, I don't think we need the mill package in this type of deck. I think our game plan is just to outvalue the opponent via creatures, and then maybe kill them in the air, and so forth. The question is, I can also put a Crashing Drawbridge in this deck to put another artifact for the Moonlit Scavengers, and replace the Mistford River Turtle as well. But maybe the 5 toughness can be more useful than 4 toughness at the very least. So let's see. I don't know why this Mad Ratter is still floating. Let's just save and exit and see what's going on. I'm very sorry, guys. Sometimes this stupid software does glitch. And you had to watch the draft with the Mad Ratter floating on the mouse, and now it's just bugged out. So, okay, I guess it's time for us to maybe just end this video and move on to part 2 because Magic the Gathering Arena is obviously broken. So we'll just exit and move on to part 2. And see you guys later.